Okay, first thing I really need to do on the Gretsch is test the transformers, because we know that's the main concern that it's come in for, and the biggest question mark over the direction that we're going to have to go with this amplifier. So he suspects that the mains transformer is shorted, and the output transformer, when it was tested, was showing some weird issues. So we need to get these things done. Now, on the schematic, there are no specs for the transformers. Thankfully, however, quite a long time ago, Mercury Magnetics did actually offer replacement units for those transformers. They don't anymore, and the data sheets for those transformers disappeared, but my customer did manage to source them. So here we have the classic tone Mercury, or whatever they're called, a data sheet for their power transformer. So we've got a 700 volt center tapped high voltage winding, red to red. We've got 3 amps on the 5 volt winding for the heaters. It used to be 2 amps, it says up here. Then they've increased it to 3 amps, and our 6.3 volt heater winding is rated at 3.4 amps. And as you can see, it's got 117 volt primary. We're going to get this rewound at 240 volt, so we haven't got to use any step down transformers or anything like that. Great, fantastic. So should this unit be faulty, which we suspect it is, but we'll test it anyway, we've now got the correct data sheet. Of course, not just the mains transformer, we have the output transformer too, which is actually really interesting. 35 watt unit, 5k primary and 8 ohm secondary. So again, we've got all these details, got all the codes down here, so we can double check everything and make sure it is what it is. So I'm going to pull the transformers out of the chassis, but as always, we'll just take some photos first. So there we go. So I know exactly where things are going to go. Right, I'm just going to desolder these, detach them from the chassis, and then we can get them over on the test bench, see if we can work out what's going on. Okay, so the output transformer is E6113. (524 6326). Doesn't match up. With that. Oh dear. Okay, let's check the mains transformer. E3738A. E3738A. So that one is correct. Okay, but it's this output transformer which doesn't seem to be correct. So E6113. Not what this one says. So I'm just going to do some Googling, see what we can find. Okay, so I couldn't find the correct specs online. In fact, I couldn't find any specs for this transformer on the internet, but it doesn't matter. I figured I'd just measure it myself anyway and see if we get any kind of readings. And yeah, this thing is strange. So I'm injecting a 1 volt RMS voltage into the secondary. So here's your diagram here. I've got 1 volt coming in here, and we measure the voltage coming out on the primary side, and then we can do some mathematics and work out exactly what the transformer is. However, I can't even do that because I've got my signal generator turned off. We've got no volts going into the transformer. Turn my signal generator on, and we're only getting 0.167 volts, or 167 millivolts on the primary. So this thing is very strange, very odd. Can't even measure it. So that's a shame, really. Because if I move my wires to the other side, try and get a voltage measurement on the primary, we get a strange up and down thing. So I can't trust that number because I don't know if I'm actually putting in 1 volt into the transformer itself. I'm just going to grab a spare transformer just so I can check that I haven't messed up my setup. Bear with me. Okay, I've just hooked up the cheap 18 watt transformer that we pulled out of the 18 watt clone. Hooked up what I assume is the 8 ohm secondary, exactly the same way as the Valco transformer was connected. And there's our 1 volt going in. Okay, so if I now turn that off, move my meter to primary side, which will be this one and this one, inject my 1 volt. There we go. Okay, so 1 volt going in, we get 29.2 going out. So we know the setup works. Okay, let me then reconnect up the Valco, see if we can get this thing to work. Valco reconnected, 1 volt going in, but there's clearly a short going somewhere because it's dumping my voltage to ground. So yeah, this transformer is kaput. So the output transformer is going to need a rewind too. Oh dear. I need to do some research then to see if we can work out what the primary impedance needs to be. Do we go with the 5k that this says, even though it's not quite correct? Or do we draw some load lines? Maybe we do that. Anyway, let's test the mains transformer. Before we do that, actually, we'll just measure the DC resistances of the windings. So I'm going from red to brown, which is this side. Pencil knackered. What have we got? 62.4 on this side. 62.4 ohms. So I now move from the brown to the blue. We get 266 ohms. And they should be roughly the same across each side. So yeah, I think we've got an issue there, don't you? Just to confirm, if I then go from center tap across the entire winding, which is across here, 328. That is not a healthy transformer. Don't need to take it any further than that. She is knackered. No good. Right, mains transformer. Don't even need to go much further than this. So all I've done is connected the primaries up to an IC socket, so I can connect a cable to it. Through the light bulb limiter, got bulbs glowing at full crank. We have, I'm afraid, a shorted mains transformer. It's as easy as that. It shouldn't be glowing at all. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I need to speak to my customer and say we're looking at a rewind on both transformer units a recone on both speakers, plus all the other bits inside, or a full electrolytic recap, just for starters on this thing. So we're getting expensive now. So let's have a conversation with a customer, let him know what he's in for, and go from there. But this is absolutely no good. What are we going to do, eh? Can't even confirm that those numbers are correct because it is shorted. What else can we do? Is there anything else we can do? No, there's not really any point now because we have got a short. So yeah, let's get some quotes and see what's what.